Hello, everyone. This is Stacy. Welcome to The Landing. Welcome back to The Landing. Today we're diving into part 2 of my conversation with someone who means a whole lot to me, my dear friend, Shawn. If you caught part 1, you already know what a joy it is to hear him reflect on growing up here, the people and places that shaped him, and the love he carries for this community. In this episode, we'll continue exploring Shawn's journey, not just as a proud son of Harker's Island, but also as a passionate educator and administrator. He's someone who leads with heart, purpose, and a deep respect for the heritage that raised him. You'll hear more of his wisdom, laughter, love for family, and the stories that connect generations. So settle in and enjoy part 2 of my conversation with Shawn.
But even before that, though, we did venture out a little bit because when we got to 7th and 8th grade, you get sports at that time.
Yeah.
And then we would go over and we would play. We would combine, especially at football.
Yeah, football will combine.
We would combine with the boys and cheerleading with the girls from Smyrna Atlantic.
Yep.
And
it's funny to think of. We had enough kids when we were going through to play against Smyrna and Atlantic in basketball and those things but football, of course, required more numbers.
I've looked back on it a couple of times and looking at some old yearbooks, and there's like one year there was like 270, I think, maybe people at Harker's Island Elementary.
Wow.
And you think about it, and think about how many kids like we went to school with, how many that didn't live on the island. They were very few and far between.
Right.
It would be maybe a child of a teacher
Right.
that came there with the teacher.
Right. Yeah, we were all here.
Yes. And I mean, everyone was here. And now I think about before we left, so my family left from here and we moved up to Clayton in Johnston County. We just finished up our 14th year being there. We're going into 15 years. But I can remember because all of our kids were little. All 3 of our kids went to the island school, Harker's Island School. And at that time, it was kindergarten, still kindergarten through 8th, and there was only 150 kids.
Wow.
And so when I took my 3 kids out, what was that, a 1.5% population decrease?
And so that was, what, 14 years ago?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Right? Well, now it's half that.
Oh, Lordy.
And it's K5.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah.
And I can remember we moved our kids up, and my oldest daughter, Sullivan, she was getting ready to go into her middle school years. She was going in 6th grade. So we go from that little school of 150 kids and those kids that she had been in from kindergarten with, and took her to a middle school of 1,200 children.
Wow.
I mean, and then you still have another middle school that I was admin at. Her mama taught at that middle school. And I was admin 6 miles down the road, and another 1,000 kids.
That's amazing.
So those schools are huge compared to what we have down here.
Yeah. So. I jokingly will say that we got a public-private school education.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you couldn't get away from because we talk about, like, so you have Hannah Ray and you have April that we went to church with. And I mean, and people knew who you were on the island.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't go to church with them, you were probably related to them.
That's right.
And so if you got in trouble at school, your mom was going to know. Everyone else's mama knew about it. And it tried to keep you straight, I think, a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. You thought about whose you were all the time because everybody knew. Yeah.
So think about whose you were, and just you're talking about that we'd be back before dark or whatever. You remember, not now, maybe your mama didn't, but I can remember mamas going out on front porches and yelling for youngins to get home.
Mm-hmm.
That was supper time.
Yep. And if you heard your first and middle name, then that means that she had been yelling.
Yep.
And you didn't come quickly.
I can remember one time going, and I was swinging on the swing set at the island school.
At school. Huh.
I mean,
we
just went there and you play. It wasn't school, wasn't in set. But I heard my mama yelling from beside the water tower.
A quarter of a mile away.
I could hear her, and I was like, better go, because heaven forbid you didn't go.
Yeah.
And if she had to come and find you.
Oh, it's bad, yeah.
Oh, my great, because you knew what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
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 And riding my bicycle with my mama tailgating. And you just knew what was going to happen. And, of course, you were in for, maybe you weren't going to get a whipping, but you might get a whipping. You might get a whipping. And in our house, you had that weeping willow tree in the backyard.
Yes, you did.
And I don't know if, I think about my kids, they don't know what it's like to go pick a switch.
Right.
And if you didn't pick a good switch, one was going to get picked that was going to be even worse.
You might as well pick it, right?
Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm going on about getting whippings now.
No, it's funny. It was totally different times.
It was.
But yeah, I mean, parents would holler and holler your name, and I would be Stacy. And then if I didn't get there fast enough, then my name kept growing and growing.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
But before we go any further, too, I do want you to touch on, you are in education. So where did you go to school and where are you now?
Well, I started school at East Carolina. And remember Tommy Boy, the movie Tommy Boy?
Yes. Yes.
And the Farley character, he's Tommy Boy. And David Spade is kind of like, he works for Tommy's father, and he's trying to keep him out of trouble or whatever. I don't know. And Chris Farley. Chris Farley.
All right.
Chris Farley says,
thank you.
Chris Farley says, lots of people go to school for 7 years. And David Spade said, yes, they're called doctors. Oh, man. So it took him 7 years to get his 4-year degree. I wasn't far off of that. I didn't know really what I wanted to do. I remember that I did the first year at CCC, which now think about, I mean, it was a really smart thing to do. You save money
for
doing
sure. That. Yes, parents, that it's not a bad choice.
Yeah, and then went to East Carolina, still not knowing what I wanted to major in. But you're supposed to go to college. That's what we were always told. You had to go to college.
Yeah,
it's not true, but
yeah,
you had to go to college. And went to ECU, and still remember that first tuition bill, $602. That's what it cost me.
Yeah.
For tuition and fees that year. Anyway,
you could go for 4 years of college for $20,000.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now that doesn't even cover 1 year.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So I went there. Then I took some time off, and I did my church mission.
2 years.
Yeah, and went to Australia, to Melbourne, Australia, and Tasmania, and then came back and went back to East Carolina. I was going to get my teaching degree. Let's say that. Yeah. I didn't know for sure, but I like political science.
Yeah.
So I went that route, and actually I couldn't get a teaching degree with it, but I just liked it, and so I was going to do it. And I ended up meeting a girl. Got set up on a blind date by my mother.
Oh, wow.
She had met a lady at church, Donna Johnson, who had married Blaine Johnson, had remarried him down here. They conspired and set up a blind date with me and my wife, Wendy Wingard from Newport. That's where she had grown up. And so we met Seafood Festival weekend. 1995. I proposed to her 5 weeks later. And then 6 months after that, we got married, and we just celebrated our 29th anniversary.
Oh, my goodness.
It's crazy. But
wow.
Wendy was down in Wilmington. And so if I was going to chase after her, I'd already asked her to marry me, and I was a student at ECU. So I withdrew and went down to Wilmington. And ended up going down there, and I was going to try that education thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't feel it at the time, and I ended up graduating with a philosophy and religion degree.
Really?
It was kind of crazy. I almost flunked out when we were engaged that first semester. Matter of fact, my grade point average tanked abysmally. I didn't have financial aid. It didn't come through because I'd been ignorant. I had withdrawn from ECU. I was the first one from my family who went to college. No one knew how financial aid worked.
Yeah.
No one knew how any of that stuff worked. And so I went and I begged them to let me back in on academic probation. I told them, I said, I'm getting married. And I can remember the dean of students, she said, well, that's going to make it worse. I said, please trust me. I'll be better.
Yeah.
Trust me, I will. And so they let me back in on academic probation. I had been a poli-sci major because you could do that and get your high school teaching certificate. She said, well, you didn't pass anything except for your intro to religion class, which all UNCW students had to take.
Oh.
At that time.
Because, yeah, I did.
There was an intro to, well, I think you transferred in.
So I missed, okay.
But at that time, it was something that I had to take, or at least I had to take it in that course of study I was doing.
Right.
She said, well, the only one you passed was this intro to religion class. It was my only night class. I was working through the day. I had worked the job there to make ends meet. And she said, why don't you change your major to philosophy and religion? I said, well, what can I do with that?
Yeah.
She said, the same thing you can do with political science. I said, well, okay. And I went, I got a 4.0. They gave me a departmental scholarship. And then I had the best time finishing up my 4-year degree. Now, granted, it wasn't that useful until later on. And then eventually I did come back around. I worked a few different jobs. But someone had told me about the lateral entry program for teaching. I tell you, really, that was the best way for me to go. I don't think I was cut out of the cloth to be a traditional student teacher. Right. I needed baptism by fire.
Yeah. Well, we've established that.
Yeah.
We're getting over the alarm, right? The siren and learning how to swim. I mean,
that was it. So I needed just to be thrown into it.
Yeah.
And I did. I had the opportunity. I got a chance to go and teach at a little middle school in Lenoir County called Savannah Middle School.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore. It's actually, it combined with a little elementary school, and it's called Savannah Contentney, I think. Or Contentney, Savannah. Yep. And it's, I think, a pre-K through 8 now. It's a big old school.
Big school, yeah.
But at that time, I got the chance to go there. The principal was Miss Audrey Nobles. And I can remember I had worked all day. Wendy and I were actually living down in Florida at that time. I tell you, we bumped around a whole bunch, but we were living down in Florida, and I was working with my daddy down there in seafood. And I remember I had packed shrimp all day long. Wow. And I took off about 4:30, went home, took me a shower, and I drove through the night and did my interview the next day with bloodshot eyes. And I met with this principal, and she went out on a limb, and she gave me the opportunity to start in education. And so I started right there. I taught 6th grade.
Wow.
Science and social studies for 3 years. And I had some great teammates, Susan Orman, Melissa Anderson, Patty Hughes. Those were 3 veteran teachers, wonderful women. We taught on the top floor of Savannah Middle School.
Yeah,
and
they were old school.
They were awesome ladies, but that got me in the door. And I haven't been at the same school forever and a day. I mean, I was there for 3 years. We had our first daughter when we moved here, and then we had our second daughter, Kaysen, who you know well. We had her, and then I can remember I got a call one day. It was my 3rd year teaching there, and it was in the afternoon. I got a call, and it was patched through. And when I answered, it was a hysterical, crying woman, and it was my wife. And Wendy was going, I said, honey, what is it? Now, granted, you got to remember that wasn't long after. That was after 9/11 had happened, about a year or so before. West Pharmaceuticals in Kinston had blown up.
Yes.
There's all these different things. And so I'm getting a call from my wife crying hysterically, and we do have 2 little girls at the house. I said, what is wrong? She says, I am pregnant. And I can't remember. I chuckled a little, and I'm looking. I got about 34 6th grade students looking at me.
Right.
And I said, honey, it's going to be okay. I love you. I'll talk to you when I get home tonight. And I went on home. Now, granted, our youngest daughter, she was 8 months old when Wendy found out. And so, needless to say, that lit a fire under us, and we tried to get back down home where the grandmothers were at. And so, went from there back down to Carteret County, and we were here for 8 years. Thought we were going to grow old and die down here.
Right.
But it wasn't meant to be. I had done the Principal Fellows program, and then the jobs were getting more scarce here in Carteret County. So I started applying elsewhere, and Johnston County called. And it's a growing county. Matter of fact, I think it's the fastest growing county in the state of North Carolina right now.
Wow.
And so we went up there, and it was within 2 weeks. Matter of fact, I spoke with the director of HR, and she offered me the position and as an assistant principal at Archer Lodge Middle. And she says, is there anything else I can do? I said, well, my wife has just recently gone back. She finished her teaching degree, and she said, oh, we get a 2 for her. I said, if you can make it happen, that'd be great. And so by the next day, they had set up 3 job interviews for Wendy.
Oh, my goodness.
And she had 3 offers, and then she accepted one that was closest to where I was going to be at.
Right.
And so our kids were able to stay right there with her. And so, we finished up 14th year. And I have been at all 3 levels of education. I started in the middle school, and then went from there to the high schools. I've been over at Clayton High School and Cleveland High School. And then the summer of 2021, after we were coming back from pandemic year, every school, I think maybe in the state, I know in Johnston County, every school had a summer school program.
Right.
For 6 weeks.
Right.
To try and help out. They were opening it up to all these APs to get experience and to be able to help out along those lines. And I had the opportunity to go to a little place called Dixon Road Elementary School. And so I had gone from being in high school for 5 years where you could get cussed out in a heartbeat.
Right.
And you didn't even know what you did wrong. You just happened to say hi.
Yes.
Which that's true story. First time I said hi to somebody at one of the high schools, the boy blew me out. And I was like, son, I haven't done anything to you.
Right.
But I went there, and those little kids at the elementary, the learning is exciting, scary, but exciting. And they love you, and you are a rock star. And you can't ever feel bad about yourself for too long when you're in the elementary school, because those youngins just love you. And it's even better, I think, sometimes for us men, because it's female heavy profession down there, especially the school I'm at right now. We have about 750 kids coming up. There's only 3 of us gentlemen on staff. And so now it's exciting for me, because I've kind of come full circle. When I first started teaching at Harkers Island Elementary, that was the first year my daughter, Sullivan, she was a kindergarten student. I was able to get her in at the island. She would ride to school with me.
Wow.
And then I go back and start my career of elementary administration at the same time that my grandchildren are starting school.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And so it is. It's really great. And we've really been blessed. We really thought we were going to be here in Carteret County. We had a house over in Otway. We had done an addition to it. We were excited about it. Although I had this little twinge.
Yeah.
It's like, you need to go ahead and sell this place. Something's happening.
Yeah.
And I didn't follow through on that prompting. And it taught me a lesson, because we end up having to go. But it was hard pill to swallow. It was hard on our kids to leave all their friends behind, to leave all their family behind.
Yeah.
But it has been a great opportunity for our family. Our oldest met the little boy that she's going to marry. Our first Sunday we were at the church up there.
Wow.
and now they've been married 7 years. We have 3 grandchildren through them. Kaysen did great in school, and she finished early and went to East Carolina and graduated before she turned 20.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Because of the dual entry program that they could do there in Johnston County. With Carter had it for a little while with Mast, I believe, was the school.
Yeah.
But Kaysen was one of 10 girls or 10 students. They did a 5-year program in 4 years.
Wow.
And then she went there and she met this Baisden boy.
I know. All right. Before we end, we have got to just touch on that real quickly, because we moved away when Davis was going into kindergarten. And Darcy, of course, weren't in school yet. We went to Pamlico County. And then we stayed there 3 years, went to Lenore County. And so our kids didn't know each other. And so Davis, he went to ECU, and that's where he met this Kaysen girl, this Bates girl. And Dave ended up, of course, getting married. And so it's funny, and we're getting ready to be blessed with another little one.
Yes, we are.
I'm so excited.
That'll be your first.
My first grandbaby.
Your first grandbaby.
Yeah.
So we've got a Christmas present coming.
Can't wait.
A little after Christmas, I think.
But you and I have joked about it. But would you ever, looking back at our young selves here on Harker's Island, ever have looked at each other and thought in a million years that our kids would be married?
No. No.
I mean, that's so funny.
It's crazy
And
how things work out, and you're blessed when you get to have friends become family. Friends who were like family growing up. I mean, because really, all of us who grew up here, especially when you have church in it as well as school, age. I mean, we're within 2 months of each other, and you're a half mile down the road growing up. And no, we were never boyfriend, girlfriend, or anything like that. No,
we were brother, sister.
She was Stacy, and to now we will share a grandchild. That is, it is crazy. It is wonderful, and I know when Kaysen and Davis started seeing one another, and Wendy would ask me, "What do you think?" I was like, "This is a good thing." I said, because I hope they end up together, because they're never going to go too far away, because where his people are is where my people are. And so how fitting that we are now talking on the land and where our crowd gathers, because our crowd is our crowd now.
Right.
It really is. And now our crowd comes, and they're going to have their own crowd.
Yeah.
And it's just an amazing thing to know that that you raised a good boy and a girl too, because Darcy's a sweetheart. Her and her Cobb salads.
Yes.
Now, was it Cobb salad or beet salad?
I think it was beet
salad. Oh my gosh, that was a whole other story sometime. But yes, but to know that your child is marrying a good boy, and for me to be able to tell you that your boy married a good girl.
Yeah.
And they each have their things. And I know sometimes we might want to wring their necks every once in a while, but they're awesome.
Yeah.
And really, we have been blessed so much, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the 2 husbands. My oldest daughter has a wonderful husband. My youngest daughter has a wonderful husband.
Yeah.
I hope my boy ends up with a wonderful wife when the time comes. Because, and I was talking with some other administrators, we had just had a leadership week, and I kind of went out on a limb a little bit. I was talking to this young principal, and he's already a doctor. I asked him if he had any kids, if he and his wife had any kids, and he's like, 0. And my principal, who was sitting beside me, she said, they just got married about a year or 2 ago. And so I told him, I said, listen, I said, you need to pass the genes on. I said, I know we do a lot in education. I said, but you need to pass it along,
Mm-hmm.
not just in what you're sharing with those students that come to you. I said, but you need to pass it on to your own kids. I said, because I can tell you what, I've been in this for 20, almost 25 years now. I will have lots of students. There's been thousands of them now, but then none of them going to be as important as those 3 youngins that I have. And my 3 grandyoungins, soon to be 4 grandyoungins. Those are the most important things that you make.
Yeah.
Those are going to live beyond you. They're not going to put a plaque up to me in a school, and even if they did, and if they named a school after me, it wouldn't hold any comparison to seeing your children grow and be successful. I mean, that's the big thing. And so I love this little format where we talk about our crowd gathering. I do regret that my children didn't grow up by the landing.
Yeah.
They always say that they're from Harker's Island, even though their time may have been short there, like Davis and Darcy's were short here, but they know where the roots are from.
Our roots run deep.
We do.
They run deep, and they are strong. I mean, because I've been away from the island now 21 years, and it's still home.
Yeah.
You know, and I come as often as I can.
My accent fluctuates wherever I go, and I don't know if you find that too, but I do. I speak differently.
I do.
And I feel bad when, like in the news, they'll talk about, well, so-and-so's making a fake accent. If they're like Shawn Bates, I'll go into a restaurant, and it could be a Mexican restaurant, and I'm going to start speaking with a Spanish accent just because I pick it up when I'm around. So I'll speak more country when I'm up in Johnston County. Heaven forbid if I go see my daddy's family in Tennessee. I mean, but yes, so we pick up those things, and our roots do run deep. And so I love to be able to bring it back and to tell my kids about things that happen, to show them places on the island, because it's changed so much now.
Yeah.
And my mama would tell me about how much it had changed from when she had been a child. And it really has. And bless its heart, I don't think the island's ever going to be, it's never going to be that paradise where it used to be.
Not like it used to be. Our kids can't know the island that we know.
No more than I know when Mama talks about when our parents were teenagers with the gathering places.
Right.
The little joints where they were little hamburger stands, the theaters. Although we do remember the theater and the arcade a little bit.
Yeah.
But things have changed so much. And now the people who live on the island, I mean, they're few and far between who are still true islanders.
Yeah. I know.
Now it's crowd who come down here and they just call it Harkers.
I know. Right.
Where we grew up, you never would say Harkers.
No.
I live to the island.
It's the island
or I live on Harkers Island.
Yeah. That's right.
And
it matters.
It does. It does. Not to badmouth anyone who calls it Harkers, but
not to badmouth them, but don't do it.
Don't do it because it's the island.
And don't say you're going to Shack either.
No.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother conversation. Oh my goodness, I have loved talking to you, and I mean, we are family, have always been, but we literally are now, and it's so exciting. And I know that you have experienced grandparenthood, but I am getting ready, Daryl and I, to get into a whole new part of life, and it's so exciting.
It is.
So glad to share it with you. I do love my kids, and everything you said has struck a chord with me. So I appreciate you.
Well, good. I hope somebody enjoys it besides me and you.
Well, if not, then it's okay. Lots of folks will.
Very good.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And good luck at this school year. It's coming quickly.
It is coming quickly, but it'll be a great one.
I hope so.
There's so much to look forward to this year. So
yeah, good things are coming. Good things.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you again for joining us to The Landing. This podcast is brought to you by the Core Sound Waterfowl Museum and Heritage Center. I am your host, Stacy Davis Baisden, and today's podcast was produced by April Davidson. Tune in next week as we continue learning, sharing, and remembering together. If you'd like to hear more, check out our previous episodes where you get your podcasts. Until then, stay safe and be kind.